is a masculinity shortage. If you don't believe me, check this out.
All right, let's get into it.
Talking to a guy on a dating app, told me that he's looking for a serious relationship. I said, me too.
So far, so good. Want the same thing? Ding!
And he asked me, what do you look for in a serious relationship? I said, I'm attracted to masculinity.
Well, you know how I feel about the polarity energy crap, and if you don't, you're going to learn very quickly.
Trying to be as vague as possible because too many times in LA I've been too specific and the guys just pretend to be that, and it's just a waste of your time.
Oh, it's a video with foreshadowing.
Do you think this man responded to me saying that I'm attracted to masculinity? I don't know where I rank on the masculine scale. What?
Personally, I think that sounds like a reasonable response.
Masculinity are just the qualities or attributes associated with men.
However, a lot of these qualities and attributes that we used to only associate with men, women are more than capable of possessing those qualities and attributes as well.
Synonyms are maleness, manliness. The opposite is femininity.
And we're also realizing that men are more than capable of possessing qualities and attributes that were mostly only associated with women. And for some unexplained reason due to our societal and cultural programming, women who possess masculine qualities and men who possess feminine qualities is always almost described as a bad thing. Why? I still have no idea. Like if the words masculinity and femininity didn't exist, and we just equated these qualities and attributes to the individual, how much simpler would things be?
To have a grown man question whether or not if he's even masculine shows you the state of how men are thinking in 2024.
Well, consider the fact that a lot of young men growing up in this day and age, that they've been constantly bombarded being told that masculinity is toxic and they're toxically masculine, which has the potential to make them feel unwanted and that they're a problem in society for being male, which can lead men down a dark path where they feel disenfranchised and wind up in circles of men who engage in and promote toxic masculinity. So I've got to say, being patronizing and condescending to a man who's willing to be open to discuss the question of his masculinity is a bit uncalled for. Also, this is one man.
I know some of you are going to read this, that he says, I also think it's up for interpretation on what qualities are masculine.
That's right.
It's true, but you're the man.
Is really all this is you're just annoyed he's not assertive in his stance?
Masculine thing is for you to know what masculinity is and aspire to be that, whatever your interpretation is.
That's all well and good, but what if his interpretation of masculinity doesn't align with your interpretation of masculinity? There's a conflict of interest. However, in spite of that, it really doesn't sound like you two are going to hit it off.
Instead, he's basically telling me like, well, I don't know if I'm masculine. This masculinity is different depending on who you're talking to. What do you think it is?
Yeah, it's definitely because he wasn't assertive in his stance. So my advice to men, if you're living in your truth and you're being honest, and you're not harming anyone and carrying on like an absolute fuckwit, don't be afraid to speak it. And if you don't because you're worried she won't react positively to it, overcome that fear and take the risk. If she doesn't like it, then you're not compatible with her.
Tell him what attributes I associate with masculinity.
She's got being action-based, the ability to lead, planning, drive, and initiative. Which, like I've said, those qualities aren't only associated with men. Women can possess those qualities too. This is where this stuff gets all really confusing because in this video specifically, we're talking about masculinity in regards to a relationship. Essentially, I'm interpreting this as that she wants for you to take initiative, ask her out, and plan a date. Pick a spot, pick a day, pick a time, decide to meet there, or if she's comfortable with you picking her up, go in with the mindset that you're willing to pay for it in full. Or why should I have to pay for the first date? Look, you deal with that debate. I'm sick of it. I fold. It's too much of a headache. But don't go above your means. Don't go to a place you're not comfortable with paying for both of you at. Or you could even do something more light and casual. It depends on how you both navigate dating. Provide her with the gift to make as minimal decisions as possible.
This is a 38-year-old man. It is in the water.
I'm not entirely sure, but I hear it's turning the freaking frogs gay.
Listen, fuckhead, you have fucking crossed the line.
So what do I think about masculinity? I don't care. I don't want anything to do with it. The whole thing just aggravates me to hell. It's always felt restrictive and made me feel guilty and shameful for possessing qualities that aren't conventionally masculine. Like there's something wrong with me for being truly who I am, and not this idea of what someone else has concocted that it is. So I'd rather just reject it entirely. After all, masculinity and femininity are just made up ambiguous words. I guess I would focus my attention differently on what I'm looking for in a partner. Are we compatible? Do we share similar values? Are we heading in the same direction in life? Do we have sexual chemistry? Do we care for each other, support each other, respect each other? Isn't that what truly matters? Not constantly overthinking whether someone's in their masculine energy. Now, you could argue that me taking initiative to ask a woman out and plan a date with her is fulfilling a masculine role. Whereas to me, it just seems impractical. If I like someone and want to spend time with them, I just sit around waiting for them to make plans with me. This whole polarity mumbo jumbo was like being put in jail with handcuffs and then realizing that the handcuffs and the jail cell wasn't locked. And I was voluntarily in there. So I left and I don't base my life around it. But as always, that's my interpretation. If your interpretation is different and it works for you, then go for it. Now, am I concerned that there's a shortage of masculinity in our society? No. I went the majority of my life not even being aware of its existence, and I wish I could go back to that time because it was much simpler.